Hello and welcome to Would You Rather with our guest, Todd Faulkner. Excellent name, right? Sounds good. We will be discussing two films and how they relate to articles in our real world, The Fog and In the Mouth of Madness, both by Carpenter. So buckle up. Please, if you like our channel, please subscribe and like these videos. Tell us all things, Todd.
Well, all things Todd. I'm an actor and a writer. I produce a podcast called Uncanny County, sort of like if the Twilight Zone had been imagined by the Coen brothers. So it's kind of quirky, offbeat, southwestern kind of thing.
I enjoyed listening to Uncanny County after Nicole was on with us. She mentioned it, and
cool.
I subscribed and downloaded and
Nice.
listened. I listened to the latest episode, and then I went back and started at the beginning.
That's one of the conceits of the series, is that they're all unrelated stories. You can jump in whenever you want, but the only thing that kind of ties it together is that if there's a sheriff, it's always Sheriff Roland, and that's Nicole. She plays the sheriff.
Well, I'm going to share my screen, and Todd, I thought it was brilliant that you picked two John Carpenter movies, and you have your own reasons for picking them. But I picked for our real life examples for The Fog, because of course it's a scandal with the church, right?
Yep.
And so what's the most scandalous thing going on right now? It's all of this Hillsong stuff. I have to say, I haven't really been following it, but then I thought, wow, could you imagine if something fog-like happened out of that? That would be just priceless. And and then for In the Mouth of Madness, I felt like we need that Sam Neill insurance investigator to help these poor people with their lost Bitcoin. Have you heard of this? Where they have tens of billions. One guy lost $220 million worth of Bitcoin. So that's what I got. But you have a much more interesting reason for picking these two movies.
Well, I suggested a lot of films because I am a huge Carpenter fan, obviously. The Fog is really a throwback. It was released in 1980, but it really feels like a 70s film.
Very much.
It's kind of a parable of the American, story where the country is kind of built on the blood of innocents, and that's what this story is. It's the the people founding the town 100 years ago, tricking the people who in the ship with the lepers, who tricking them into running aground and dying, not just to keep them away, but so they can go steal their gold. I mean, it's just awful, and it's obscured by time and history. Watching it today, it just feels very ahead of its time, in a sense, because it's really talking about those the sins past.
Antonio Bay has a curse on it. We're all cursed.
Of course, I have to go side tangent here for a second. Have you seen Room 237 about The Shining?
Oh yeah.
Thought that Kubrick made it as a parable, or there's large, sections of it that are parable to the genocide of the Native Americans. And I was just amazed by you saying all this about The Fog, that idea of the genocide of America to create the wealth that we now live in is great.
And I don't, I'm not sure it was intentional. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Carpenter did write the script with Deborah Hill, so I think it's certainly plausible.
The only question in your theory here is that, so what's the revenge, guys?
Yeah.
I would have felt better about it as a revenge play if they didn't knock off the old lady.
Then the woman gets killed. And then Hal Holbrook, who was actually related to the guy, but I thought it could have been something really clever if it was not even necessarily people who had been related to the people, but maybe that knew the story. Because I think knowing the story and continuing to cover it up, that's complicity.
That's fair. I mean, you could argue that everybody was celebrating the town.
Yeah.
Right? So they were, kind of celebrating, which is what we do as a country, right? We celebrate this great coming together, and we have the whole pilgrim story, and it kind of whitewashes over, of course.
Completely,
Yeah. Completely skips over the violence and the ugly part. So it's similar in that way. So I thought that was great that you called that out. But then we've got In the Mouth of Madness, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to just talk about Bitcoin, but Todd, you have other ideas to talk about.
We can certainly talk about Bitcoin. I have to go to The Mouth of Madness now. Okay. Do you read Sutter Cain? You know, it's about this insurance guy who's investigating the disappearance of this writer whose work seemed to be driving people crazy.
The riots began because the stores could not meet the demands of Sutter Cain's novel, In the Mouth of Madness.
And more people, because he's such a popular author, are reading his works. And he says at one point, the author at one point says, more people believe my books than the Bible, you know, and it's just, it gets to this idea of reality as kind of a collective hallucination to begin with. It's kind of, you know, it's what we say it is. It made me think of QAnon.
There's that bending of the truth, like you point out with QAnon. I don't know, Bruce. Where do you stand? I thought the whole thing was QAnon leading to the Capitol riot.
The world of QAnon that you and I out here can go, haha, crazy, is much more like literally a gaming form, but it's built together. Yeah. And then the outcome will be whatever we grow together. And that's what QAnon is. That's what this world is. And I thought that played perfectly in The Mouth of Madness, because he and the readers of Sutter Cain are building that madness. And Sam Neill's me, you know, like, I don't believe this is ridiculous, and he's supposed to be us. But it's real. And then Carolyn, like you were saying, the real is they stormed the Capitol.
You know, he gets swept up in it.
It's
in this case
real.
They stormed the mental institution, right? I mean,
and this is the Lovecraftian myth. The Lovecraft gods are only as strong as you believe in them, right? Cthulhu and Hastur and the He Who Shall Not Be Named are not powerful these days because people don't believe in them anymore. This is the Lovecraftian myth. But as they get you to believe in them, they literally grow in strength. So,
and that's
that's like these radicals, right? And these conspiracy theorists, is that, you know, maybe there were some politicians, I'm not going to name names, who like pandered to that side to try to just get votes, thinking, okay, and then they'll quietly go away, and then all of a sudden we're storming the Capitol here, right?
Well, but having 4 years where it's had such a prominent voice and it's had so much support, and there's bad people on both sides, you know, it has grown more powerful, you know, much like the old gods, the old threat, you know.
And now
it's
bigger.
horrifying.
It's bigger than Sutter Cain.
I don't want to stop anything here. I just want to make sure that we take a moment, Caroline, to pivot, because it's a good point right here to talk about your Florida story. Can we hear a little bit about Florida, man? And
use that Sam Neill, insurance investigator here in Florida, to figure out all the scams going on here. Now anybody over the age of 65 coming in from wherever, there are tour groups coming in from Canada to get the vaccine. So anyway, not as violent, of course, as In the Mouth of Madness, but I
so far
like, I know, I feel like there's still that insurance angle there. We really need folks like that Sam Neill character.
Any black people in either of these movies?
These are 80s movies,
these
right?
These are very white films. The first one was the Fog was 80, and no, I don't think there's a single person of color in the film.
Though Carpenter is known later in his career for, like, there's, you know, Keith David and They Live and The Thing, and there's he's like Romero-esque in his truly colorblind casting. Not, hey, we're going to stick somebody black in here because it'll make the film look better. But he just, like, you know, cast people. But in these films, I guess we got no black folks. Any Asians? I didn't see any.
Oh, goodness, no. Not even Chinese food. No one's doing their nails. There's nothing going on. They have no reason to stick anybody in there. There's nothing going on.
Oh, like you said, they were of their day. They don't have to. It's just something we check in on every now and again.
Absolutely.
All right. So it's time for the question of the day. Todd Faulkner, you are our guest. Which would you...
She's asking if you could please subscribe and like this video. Thank you.
So, Todd Faulkner, you are our guest. So we would like you to answer the age-old question, would you rather In the Mouth of Madness, where obviously you are being drawn into the madness, or The Fog, where obviously you might be one of the people who gets jacked by the fog.
Probably could have predicted which one I would have gone for, because I'm wearing my
Nice!
KAB Radio 1340 Antonio Bay, The Fog. There's a chance that I will be the one to pay, but I feel like there's a chance to restore The Fog, to at least pay the debt and move on. And plus, it's, I think, important to reveal the truth. I'm a big believer in the truth. And the idea of getting sucked into that alternate reality is the most terrifying for me. That's the world we're living in. And much less so now. But there's a lot of people out there that are still buying into it. And I can't. Give me the creepy sailors any day.
Okay. I'm going to go next, and then you go last, Caroline. I am going to take In the Mouth of Madness, because just for the reason that you said, I think we're living through it right now. And dare I say, I am Sam Neelian. I don't believe all this crap, so it's not going to get me. And watch. Now, if I get like Sam Neill, if it comes around and attacks me and I pay for it, so be it. But I'm not messing with any zombies who could just roll up into my window and smash that. Oh, by the way, did you notice in The Fog, they always have to knock? They're like vampires. They don't just come in. You have to let them in. Right?
That's a good point. You're right.
No, they don't just walk in and say, and then at the end, Hal Holbrook doesn't get jacked until he asks for it.
Yeah.
So even though they're very polite zombies, I'm still going for In the Mouth of Madness, and will be Sam Neill till the end. I don't believe any of this crap. Caroline?
Are you crazy, Bruce? I'm going The Fog full tilt. First of all, I feel like neither of these movies are addressing me specifically. Like, I'm never going to be in any of these towns. And I feel like both of these movies are so white that I could just perhaps move into an urban neighborhood and avoid the whole thing.
Don't you think you could be playing a concert? Maybe you're on a tour with your Asian piano group.
Yeah,
and you play one of these towns. Oh, you
I
just wouldn't go. All right.
But the Fog, I feel like, is the easiest thing to outrun for a variety of reasons. I don't open my door that easily. I certainly don't open my door in the middle of the night. Who's there? Who's there?
That's a good point. I don't answer my cell phone anymore. I'm not going to answer the door in the middle of the night.
Exactly. Not to mention, I feel like if something like that ever happened in Florida, and this is where I hear you, Florida, I appreciate you. We have stand your ground here, and we have a lot of guns. And so I just feel like I just need to reach over to one of my neighbors and be like, there's somebody who doesn't belong, and pow, pow, pow. And no little like fish hook is going to beat a gun. Easy. This one's easy for me. In the Mouth of Madness, a little too messy for me.
Well, all right. I think we've done it, and I'm obviously going to Lovecraftian hell, and you two will blast your way through some zombies.
I'll turn on my fog lights. I'll turn on my fog lights.
I just won't open the door. Seriously.
Thank you guys so much for having me. This was so much fun.
Thank you, Todd. Talk to you soon.
Talk to you later. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you, Caroline.